The defendant has been accused of lying about his cancer diagnosis, childhood abuse, and more. But here, even Boogie is entitled to a kangaroo court, and with Judge Addendum proceeding, court is now in session. Boogie2988, or Stephen Jason Williams, was born in St. Paul, Virginia back in 1974, but to make things easier for this video series, we're just gonna keep calling him Boogie. Growing up, Boogie was the youngest of two siblings. He has both an older brother and an older sister. Boogie's father was a coal miner, while his mother was a preschool teacher. But even though both parents were employed at a time that wasn't nearly as common as it is today, Boogie would grow up living a life of severe poverty. This was made even worse due to the fact that both of his parents were abusive towards him and his siblings. While Boogie has gone on about what happened to him for almost decades at this point, he's made it very clear that out of the three of them, he probably had it the best. He claims that this was because his mother realized that she screwed up parenting and wanted to try it again, something that we're going to get to hear him talk about later. One of the things that Boogie's mother did to him that was unique compared to his siblings, however, was that he would talk about how she fattened him up, Hansel and Gretel style. Not to eat him, but instead so that way she could ensure that Boogie would never be able to leave her for another woman. While there's no videos of Boogie from the 80s and the 90s, we do have some old photos just showing how big he really was. After Boogie had moved out and dropped out of college, he would end up becoming a shut-in, living inside of his home for 7 years, doing freelance website design and playing an old MMO called EverQuest. Once business started slowing down, Boogie would end up having to get a part-time job at his local gaming store. The physical kind that sells Warhammer, Magic, and Dungeons & Dragons, not the video game kind. Little did he know it, but getting this job is where things would really start to change for Boogie, and he would accidentally start his new career. And I really do mean by mistake, because on September 18th, 2006, Boogie would upload a short 48-second video called Playing Dungeons & Dragons. Boogie would keep uploading and his channel was doing pretty well for a normal guy on YouTube, but then on July 15th, 2009, he would do something that changed the course of his channel forever. That's because Boogie created a character called Francis, a stereotypical nerd character with an attitude talking about Dungeons & Dragons that was originally based off the Robot Chicken character.
But I'm really upset right now. You know, I got stopped by Taco Bell. I got me some burritos and such, and I'm trying to calm down. But Steve, I know you're gonna watch this, and I want you to watch it because I want you to know how upset I f***ing am. So we're doing the module, and we get to just outside of the temple. Okay? And he rolls on some non-existent random encounter chart, which I know is not in the module. And what does he come up with? A surprise, bullywugs. And there's a dozen of them. And we find them all, okay? We're a smart party. We're a well-rounded party. We know how to use our abilities, okay? But some of us had to blow our dailies for this shit, okay? And then we go into the temple, and yes, our party wipes out inside the temple. We lose our characters, okay, inside the temple. Okay, now Steve, I happen to know that Swamp Stars was one of the very first modules they printed for 4th edition D&D, okay? It was one of the first ones I purchased with my money. And I memorized it, okay? I know that bullywugs were not even in the game until Master's Manual 2 is bullshit. It is bullshit. And you know better. And you're a seasoned DM. You know better than this.
At the time, I would be putting it lightly to say that there was an abundance of angry reviewers, from the AVGN, Irate Gamer, Nostalgia Critic, and of course, the Spoony One being some of the biggest names in the sector. But for every legend there was also a chibi Necademics just around the corner. But what separated Francis from, say, the AVGN and so many other characters was that people actually thought that Francis was real. Seriously, they thought that this was a real person.
I don't even have cards in my hand. And I talk like a f***ing land. This says 14 of 17.
So are you done?
People would usually come to the channel for Francis, but stay for Boogie, and he usually kept it to fun and games. But then, in 2010, Boogie would make 2 more serious videos, one about hope, and the second being on the death of his mother. These were some of the first really serious videos that Boogie would do. But because I can't show them in full, I'm just going to show the most important parts of them.
Hope that you can. Hope that you will be successful. And use that feeling, that emotion, to just try. Just try. And I've said this many a time in several of my videos, but what's worked for me was making a plan. Mapping it out, step by step, trying to determine exactly how to arrive at exactly the place that I wanted to be. And taking that first step every chance I got. And every time I found success, it fueled me to be stronger and to try harder and to do better things. And now, my current favorite thing, well, I have several favorite things, but one of my favorite things is my career path, which is broadcasting on YouTube. Making t-shirts for you guys to buy, making silly videos for you guys to laugh at, and videos like this to help you think. And I hope that one day I'll be as big as Ray J. And I hope that we will continue to have successful videos and a lot of fun making videos for you. I hope. So anyway, that's just something I thought about. Some of you may know this about me, but my mom passed this time last year, specifically on October 8th at about 4 a.m. She was one of the most tortured people that I ever knew. And when she passed last year, due to complications of her diabetes, it really put things into focus for me. It made me want to record more serious videos so that I could communicate some of the things that I've experienced and felt and enjoyed, that I could bring some sense and peace to people in this world. Pass on some of the good things that she had passed on to me. And I really do feel in the past year I've accomplished that.
Boogie had actually featured his mother in a video before, but this wasn't very interesting, so we're gonna leave it here. There's no denying that Boogie was getting some really good views, but then, on August 15th, 2011, he would upload his most viewed video of all time, Dramatic Fat Guy Splash. I'm not joking when I say that Boogie has claimed this video has netted him over 20,000 American dollars. By the time 2012 came around, Boogie had finally done something that all serious YouTubers dream of. He gained 100,000 subscribers and earned himself a YouTube play button. Boogie may be very good at faking emotions, but I believe 100% that he's absolutely thankful in this video. That being said, it's a little long, so we're going to do it as highlights.
Won't you look at that? That is really something. I know it's just a number on a screen, and I know it shouldn't mean that much to me, but it does. And let me explain to you why. It's a goal that I set out for myself 3 years ago. I didn't think I'd ever achieve it, but this number puts me in the top 1,500 most subscribed on YouTube, which is something else, and it means that the traffic is coming in, and I've really accomplished something here. It's one of the few times in my life I can truly say that I've been successful at something that I set out for myself, and it took a lot of hard work, and it took a lot of time, and it took a lot of effort, and today's one of those goals, one of those milestones. It really means a lot. And YouTube has changed my life. I mean, it's really changed my life. I met the girl that I plan to marry here through YouTube, and I made a lot of friends. My friend Adam, God, I can't not mention you. And I've earned a lot of respect from my friends in real life and my family members, the people I grew up with, my hometown. Some of them have seen myself. They're so proud. My mother, when she died in 2009, had seen my YouTube and she was proud of it, and she had seen me on television on DJ in the Fro and on G4, and she was proud of that too, and all of that came because of this community.
Boogie actually took his YouTube so seriously that he proposed to his girlfriend Desi1 on there, who he would eventually end up marrying.
So I got you this. And, Des, I'm asking you to marry me. Will you marry me?
Boogie, by this point, was getting hugely known, and as you're probably aware, was even known as the Mr. Rogers of the internet because of how he acted in his videos. But those were videos, something that he could plan out in advance and edit however he liked. Of course, you got to see a side of Boogie in them, but you never got to see the real Boogie. Well, that would all start to change in August of 2012 when Boogie would start streaming.
Because I like to play League of Legends, but I suck at League of Legends, okay? And I will play it from time to time, but occasionally I'll watch videos of League of Legends and watch people succeed better than I ever will. And I get it. With esports, I get it. So I still don't really understand football because it's crowded with like car commercials and McDonald's commercials and buy yourself a hat, get a hat, come down and get a hat with your sports team. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to buy a car. I'm not going to buy a car.
Boogie would then get another huge video out called Draw My Life, where he went over his life, starting out with, of course, his childhood.
I grew up in the southwestern part of Virginia in a small town called St. Paul, and it only had about 1,000 people in it, and it was part of the coal mining belt here in America, and of course my dad mined coal. It was a very hard job, which made him very sad, and my mother was a teacher, but she was always very sad, and not only was she sad, but she was pretty angry about her life and everything that had happened up till then.
The point of the video was that things get better as time goes on, and while I can agree with that message, it was around this time that instead of getting better, they would instead start getting worse for Boogie. Something fun about old YouTube was that before streaming and panels were common, with like 20 different people in them at a time where you can't understand a word that's going on, most content creators were largely doing their own thing, but sometimes they would collaborate and shout each other out. This always felt pretty wild, and this 2013 video of Boogie wishing someone luck is no exception, especially considering the relationship Boogie would end up having with this man.
Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and I want to talk to you guys tonight about my friend and fellow YouTuber Jordy. You may know him as Wings of Redemption, and he's a good guy. He's not for everybody, and I'm going to speak very frankly and honestly about him tonight, and I hope if he sees this, he's not too butthurt about it. I don't want to offend any of his friends or family or fans, but we're going to be entirely honest. He's not for everybody. Some people like his content, some don't. He said some stupid live streams and on a PKA. He said some stuff, made some jokes that were borderline homophobic and racist, and we all make mistakes. And I personally found the jokes humorous, even if they are a little offensive. As a general guy, he's a pretty good guy. If you're unfamiliar with him, I'm going to link his channel here below. The content he's produced is pretty good. I've really enjoyed his Let's Plays, but what I've really enjoyed about his content more than anything is the personal videos. I like him as a person. And I met him for the first time when I went on Woody's Gamertag, a podcast, PKA. I think it was 137 or 127.
PKA with both Boogie and Wings? What kind of conversation could those two rascals have when put together? It's highlight time.
I'm really
Boogie,
happy about it.
I got a challenge.
Yeah?
I weigh about 100 pounds less than you.
Oh, yeah.
I think I still have a bigger belly.
I don't know. How many inches are you weighing? I'm at about 78 inches.
I wear a 58 in pants.
I got you so beat, dude.
We should do a belly off.
I'm telling you. Well, let's
do a belly off?
I don't have anything to measure with.
We don't have to measure. We just have to show them.
Oh, yeah. All right. Fine. Yeah. Let's do it. Make good TV.
There's now going to be a belly off.
There's a belly off on PKA.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh, shit. No, man. Oh, no.
But. By the way.
Was there a clear winner? I think Boogie might have had him.
Yeah, Boogie had him.
If I go half a day without eating, I get headaches, I get irritable, I get cranky, I get very emotional. Like you see me like go on Twitter, there's a good chance I've been starving myself when I get really emotional on Twitter.
Yep, and I've seen your tweets, man, and I follow you, man, and I feel you every time. And every time I've seen you down, every time I've seen you hurt, and I want you to know I've been exactly there. I know exactly where you're at, and my heart reaches out for you. And I've tried to reach out to you on Twitter. I want you to have my number. I want you to have my Skype. I want to be able to talk to you, man.
Anybody here will tell you that.
Well, whenever you need me, whenever you want me, you just want to shoot, I'm there for you, dude. I've gone through exactly every step.
Great. How hard am I to get a hold of?
That's why I just show up at your house.
He just shows up now. It's just like, this is the first person I've talked to that knows my problem. Most people that give me advice are people that are in shape already. And I try to tell them, like, you have no clue what it's like to be big. No clue. You're like, you just walk out every day. Motherfucker, if I walk for an hour, I've got blisters on my feet that look like the size of a quarter. My back is hurting. I mean, I get hungry. Like, when I'm walking, I get so hungry it's unbearable. I get to the point where, like, if I don't eat something, I want to rip the door off.
I just want to point out that that was their first interaction ever. Back to that video, though. Boogie said that him and Wings were talking on Skype together and said that he was proud of Wings for going to do something you might have heard of called FPS Boot Camp.
And we've talked off and on via Skype since then and via Twitter. And in that period of time, we've talked about weight, we've talked about YouTube, we've talked about inspiration, we've talked about depression. And in that period of time, a lot of us have seen poor Jordy hit rock bottom. It's just straight up rock bottom. Financial troubles, troubles with his YouTube channel, troubles with his health. One of the things that we often discussed was motivation. It's something that him and I can often have trouble with. A lot of big people can have trouble with. And we both felt that something drastic needed to be done for him, that he needed to really push. And fortunately, a mutual friend of ours, FPS Kyle, invited him out to experience a boot camp situation. Invited him to live with him for a month and to kick some ass and to work out every single day and do everything he can to get stronger and better. And not only are they doing that, but they're putting it up on Wings' channel so that you can see, hopefully, what turns out to be a transformation live right here on YouTube. Jordy, I am proud of you, brother. We talked about it off and on, and I know that we only talked a few times, and I know that I probably have not been as supportive for you as I could have, but I want to tell you that you are inspiring me very much today, and I'm very proud of you, and I think anybody can learn that you're willing to throw yourself to the wolves here, that you can do everything you can to uproot yourself, to travel across the country, to take yourself out of your comfort zone and do your best. It's amazing. It's inspiring. I'm very, very proud of you. And I think anybody can learn from watching you go through this experience.
Well, before he had even received his silver play button, Boogie hit 1 million subscribers, entitling him to the golden play button.
Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, making a video I never thought I would make. And that's a video celebrating my 1 million subscriber landmark, which ultimately is an arbitrary number. I mean, it's just a number, right? 1 million. Wow, 1 million. But in the halls of YouTube, it is treated with a certain amount of reverence. Not a lot of people cross that threshold. And in the past, they have given away like a gold-plated YouTube play button. I don't know if they still do that. Hopefully, they'll do it for me. Holy crap. That is incredible.
Where are we going to put that?
I don't. I could eat it. Well... this is what it looks like, I guess. What this is, I hope you guys can realize exactly how big this thing is. It's actually as big as me. It's as big as me. You know, I never got a trophy in my life, other than like participation trophies for playing in like Little League baseball and T-ball and the swim team and debate team. I've never really won anything significant in my life. This is the only trophy I've ever received, but wow, does this make up for it. And this is a communal effort. I owe you guys about 1 million things.
Fast forwarding a few years to 2016, and Boogie would start branching out towards YouTube drama, covering Leafy and iDubbbz.
I don't like when Leafy picks on other people. I don't even really like it sometimes when, like, in some of Ethan, H3H3's older videos, sometimes I felt like he went a little too far. So I'm a sensitive guy. You know how sensitive I am. And I think Ethan is about as innocuous as they come. But at the same time, sometimes that would get under my skin. So you can imagine how I feel about Leafy's content, even if it's a parody or even if it's him just kind of pretending or whatever, not really meaning it. You can imagine how I feel. And iDubbbz, I don't know. I've always been a big fan of iDubbbz. I loved his content cop stuff from the start. So maybe I'm a little biased here when I say this, but I just hate that that's what YouTube is coming to. I hate that we have manufactured drama just like we had when I was growing up in the 90s, and it ruined rap for me. East Coast, West Coast, bang, 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 gangbangers killing each other. Is that what all this is going to devolve into? Because if it is, it's super depressing. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, which is just try to make you guys laugh, try to make myself laugh, and hopefully we can have a good time.
But fast forwarding again to March 25th, 2017, and Boogie would talk about his upcoming weight loss surgery on another episode of PKA, and how his doctor told him that he would have to get down to 420 pounds before the doctor would be willing to do the surgery.
This is going to be the only weight talk we're going to talk about. It's going to be super quick, okay? A lot of people over the last 3 or 4 years have been expecting me to lose weight at this, very fast speed. And you know what? I've lost next to nothing. I gained a bunch of weight and I lost it again, and that's where I'm at. I'm pretty much where I was 5 years ago. But the entire goal of this was to try to find medications that helped, try to get my diabetes under control, try to get my heart pressure under control, try to get my hormones under control so that I could eventually qualify for bariatric surgery, or God forbid, maybe get into a gym one day where I can build muscle, at least get me to where I can walk better. Like, that's one of the big primary goals. But the idea was to get me to a point where I would qualify for bariatric surgery. So back just before this fall, I spoke with my weight loss doctor, and my weight loss doctor is like, no, so I told you needed to be right around 490 to lose the weight, to get surgery. And I'm like, yes. He goes, well, I've talked with our bariatric surgeon, and he actually wants you closer to 420. And I'm like, that's 100 more pounds. Mm-hmm. How am I going to fucking do that? I'm like, I'm barely losing, with this appetite suppressant and these diabetes medications, and I'm throwing up all the time. How am I supposed to fucking lose weight? I can't even keep food down now. How much more can I cut back? And his answer is, well, it doesn't matter because you have to do it. We have to figure it out. And he wants me to do this OptiFast program where I drink like 3 diet shakes in a day, and then I eat a sensible meal for dinner. And I'm like, I can't, but I have to do like weekly group therapy and sit around a bunch of fucking idiots complaining about their shit. And I don't want to.
That would be so helpful. That would be so helpful. I'm thinking about I'm putting myself on your diet plan in my brain right now, and I'm thinking man, that's hard to stick to. You'd really need a support. And I was before you even said it, I was like, I would need a support system. I'd need some other guys who are also starving themselves to share my stories with. Drove past Burger King, I could smell the flame broiled Whoppers, because you can smell a Burger King, and I bet to a big guy it's like aphrodisiac.
Thankfully for Boogie, as he would further explain on the show, there was another doctor at that hospital who was willing to do the surgery regardless, all because of how well known Boogie was on the internet.
And he goes, have you talked to my partner? And I'm like, nope. And he's like, well, why don't you talk to one of our girls today? Because you would qualify for our surgery. And I'm like, well, I don't think you looked at my medical chart, sir. I still weigh more than 100 pounds, about 100 pounds, what you guys want me to weigh. And he goes, no. He's willing to take a risk for a high-profile client like you, I think. And I'm like, really?
Oh, there you go. Second opinion.
So
is it because you're a superstar on the internet?
It's in part. He said that over the last year, he has become increasingly comfortable performing the surgery on people of larger size. And ideally, he wants a BMI of 65, which is a huge fucking BMI, by the way. But I'm even higher.
Many months later, on October 2017, and Boogie would go back onto PKA to tell them about how he was doing after he had gotten his gastric bypass surgery, saying that this was not the easy way to lose weight. This is something that I don't really think is true, but I've never gotten gastric bypass surgery, so what do I know?
You got your surgery, and you're killing it so far. How much have you lost?
About 105 pounds, give or take. I got the gastric bypass surgery at the beginning of August. I got it on August 7th. So we're a little over 2 months out, about 8.5 weeks out. And the recovery was a fucking nightmare. Anybody who calls this the easy way out is a fool, because it damn near killed me. And the amount of misery I went through in the first 4 weeks, boy, you got no idea. But I lost, let's see, about 40-some pounds on the initial pre-op diet. And a lot of that was water weight, obviously, stuff like that, because it's a huge crash diet. We're eating 800 calories a day, nothing but protein shakes, and it was miserable. I had to do that for 3 weeks to qualify for the surgery. And then post-surgery, I'm down another 50-some pounds. And it was like I'm now controlled diabetes through just diet and exercise, no medication. My blood pressure is now finally where it was, where it should be. It's like about 180 over 120 over 100, or 120 over 80, I guess, with medication, a lot of medication. A lot of people don't know this, and I don't really talk about it much on my channel, but the reason we went ahead and got the surgery, and the reason my doctor was willing to work on me, even though it was a little bigger than he would have liked, was because I was walking into my doctor's office with a blood pressure of 220 over 120 with medication. So I was just ready to blow any day.
Jeez.
And, right. And I wanted to take another crack at losing it the diet and exercise way. And I think I could if I had not done the surgery. The problem is it would have been a lot slower and a lot more difficult to get the diabetes back under control and get the everything else under control. And I certainly couldn't stick to 800 calories a day. I don't have the willpower. Most people don't have that kind of willpower. But that's where I am right now. I'm eating about 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day right now. It's pretty crazy.
Are you sticking like to the trajectory pretty well? Like, did they say like their predictions for your weight loss? Are you kind of on point with that?
It's actually really creepy because my doctor told me at the 4-week mark, he said, expect your weight loss to slow, if not stop, for about a month. And I'm like, what? That's not going to happen. Are you kidding me? I'm eating 1,200 calories a day. That's mathematically impossible.
More importantly, however, on that episode was some incredible foreshadowing where Boogie said that he now owned a pistol and nobody should come to his house because of it.
I've trained myself a little bit with a pistol recently, just for home security or whatever. And like my roommate, we have one now. So if somebody wants to show up at the front door, know that it's not going to end well,
3 months after Boogie had gotten the surgery, he would make a video doing a little comparison showing the weight that he had lost, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty noticeable.
Here's a screen cap from one of the first videos I filmed at this house a couple years back. That is a pretty dramatic difference for sure. Again, obviously the beard has gotten longer, my hair is a little bit longer, but you should be able to see the difference in my shoulders and just the overall, like even if I try to do that now, I can't take up that much space because my arms aren't as pushed out as they used to be. And obviously the loose skin and stuff like that. So anyway, today we did the first portion of my 3-month checkup at my doctor's office. They checked my body fat ratio, which has come down quite a bit. I tweeted out these statistics, so if I misquote them here, I apologize. But I'm 110 pounds down since the pre-op diet. Forget how much since surgery, 50, 60, 70 get surgery. Anyway, I'm weighing in at 430. You can do the math yourself based on what I've tweeted and said in previous videos. My BMI went down from like 75.1 to 64 or something like that. A pretty dramatic difference in the BMI. And then I lost 7.5 inches from my waistline.
But then, on December 17th, 2017, Boogie announced that him and Desi 1 would be getting a divorce. Something that the two of them had been planning since October of that year.
But beyond the anxiety disorder, she was still dealing with my morbid obesity. She was still dealing with my chronic pain issues, and that stuff is hard enough for me to deal with, but I have no choice. I'm stuck in this brain. I'm stuck in this body. She had a choice, and she made it, and I think she made the right decision. Back towards the middle of October, she told me that she was thinking about separating now that I was out of the surgery and now that I was nice and healthy. We talked about it and decided that she should take a break in November, and which she did. She was gone for about 3 weeks, and about 2 weeks into that, she called up and said that she had made her decision, that she wanted things to be a more permanent change, and that we should start moving in that direction. And obviously that hurts because I wanted us to work. I wanted to make it work, but I couldn't argue with the fact that we just weren't working and things weren't the way they were supposed to be or the way that either of us wanted it to be or the way that we deserved it to be. So I was in accordance and in agreement, and we started moving in that direction. So just last week, we spent the week together. Me, her, and her mom were here. We packed up our stuff. We sat down with a mediator. We got everything hammered out. We filed the papers, and in about 30 days, we're going to be completely done. And, we're just going to move on from there as exes. I guess that's what we already are. I mean, the ring is off. We're Facebook official, and it's over. The good news is we've been very amicable during this period of time. We've been very friendly and very kind. We're still talking on the phone every day. We're still texting each other. We're still interested in each other's lives. We're very eager to become friends, and we're still helping each other out. And for those of you who are worried about, anything stupid like financial issues or something like that, we did it according to law. But at the end of the day, she was very, very kind and very, very generous to me in ways she absolutely did not have to be.
A week after uploading that video, and Boogie announced to his audience that he had known about this divorce for months by this point, so he had already gone through all of the emotions.
And I think the reason you guys don't understand that or believe it is because you've only known about my divorce for a week. I've known about it since October. So I've already gone through a lot of my processing. I've gone through the mourning and the denial and the anger and the depression. I've done it, and now I'm just in the rebuilding phase. That's where I am. And so you guys don't really understand that because you guys are dealing with the stuff I was dealing with 4 months ago. I'm experiencing, happiness is not the right word because there is a giant hole in my chest that hurts really, really bad. But there is exhilaration, I think, is the right word.
Now, as bad as a divorce can be, things would actually start going downhill for Boogie even worse than before, because on April 14th, 2019, Boogie would go onto a panel with somebody that we're going to see again later called Destiny.
Okay, I think I've invited everybody.
Okay, wait, how the f*** do I turn on camera? I don't know what the f***
Ape's not coming on today.
Did I do it?
Oh, you did it. You did it. Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Hello, Boogie.
I don't understand Discord or how it works.
Okay, just cover the stream for me, guys. Be right back.
How do I see you guys?
You should be able to just open up Discord and see it. Oh, there you go. What up?
Boogie then did something that he would end up taking a lot of heat for, not just in the moment, but to this day, because he started laughing at the death of his ex-girlfriend who died from cancer.
The girl is dead. My mom is dead. Everyone I know and love is dead.
Wait, the girl died?
Whoa.
She
died at 39 of fucking lung cancer. She had breast cancer and they beat the breast cancer, but then the treatment for the breast cancer gave her lung cancer.
Oh my God, that sounds absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, bro.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. I mean, I didn't go through it. I'm still alive. She's dead.
Damn, that's brutal.
Yeah. I'm serious. You know, she why do I get to complain? She's the one who has to be dead. You know.
God damn. If only we all had that outlook, bro.
That's perspective.
Why people are like, why am I laughing? Because it's so fucking awkward. What a shit. Seriously, could you imagine struggling to beat cancer for 4 years and then you beat cancer? And they tell you to go home and you're in full remission, go home. And then 6 months later or 4 months later, you got a nagging cough and you come back and they're like, oh, we probably should have checked you earlier because you have lung cancer and it's now in your throat and brain and you're going to be dead in 6 months.
Boogie got so much heat from this so immediately that he made a thread on Twitter to explain himself and apologized the very same day this happened. Get ready, because this is a long one. Today on Greek Stream, I chuckled uncomfortably when discussing my friend Danielle's death to cancer. I chuckled at the terrible irony that she beat cancer once, was in remission, then suddenly died to a second hidden cancer. Not my best moment for sure. Danielle was my best friend for 30 plus years. She was also my first girlfriend. Losing her broke me. I didn't properly convey that in this moment. She knew my sense of humor, though, and shared it with me. We actually made jokes about her cancer on her deathbed to cope. Too long didn't read? You may not respect the way I honor her memory, and that's okay. It's not for everyone. But she would be proud to know I cracked jokes about her 4 years after she died to entertain thousands of people. It's not for you I do it, it's for her. In her teens, Danielle coined the term double cancer and jokingly wished it on her friends and enemies. We often cautiously said it was in poor taste because one of us might get cancer. She in fact died of double cancer. The irony was not lost on her. God, I miss her. But I understand why many people in stream chat and those who saw the clip took offense. Lost my dad to cancer, best friend, my aunt, I had skin cancer myself. Fuck cancer. It's one of those things so horrible in life that I don't know what else to do than laugh in its face. Well, by the time summer came around, Bachelor Boogie decided that he was single for long enough and made a splash jumping back into the dating scene, and he would even talk about it on H3H3.
And I'm so glad because now I'm out the 6 months and I've went through the physical therapy and I went through the divorce and I've dated a little bit. And
You've dated?
Really? Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was weird. That's weird.
How'd you meet him?
Tinder, believe it or not. Yeah, it's real. So
wait, after how long of being together?
So me and my ex-wife were together for 7 years.
Oh wow.
And married for 4, and so that was tough. And so like every girl that I met on Tinder, I did the opposite of like try to woo them. I was like, so here's the thing. I just went through a divorce, and I also got gastric bypass surgery. I look like I'm melting physically, and my brain is on fire, but I'm not looking to get into a relationship, nor do I ever want to be one, and again, I plan to die alone. Would you like to see the new Marvel movie with me? No, because that's all I want. I just want somebody to go see the Marvel movie with, and if you like Marvel movies, let's go see a Marvel movie. And I can go with my friends, so that's fine. So you say
that's not a bad opener, I have to say.
It's not a bad
and so like the biggest thing is I'm not a good-looking guy. I have like all of 7 teeth. So like the girls are not physically like excited, but like they know me from YouTube. That's what's been a big part of it. They're like, well, I know you helped my cousin, you helped my brother, you helped me.
So you've gone on a couple of dates to the movies.
Yeah. And
is there any special
there was one girl I was
person?
seeing for like 2.5 months, and that was fun, and she was really nice, but just wasn't a great fit.
Right.
Like she wanted more than I could like provide because I'm just not like emotionally there.
Yeah.
I was too busy like dealing with XY stuff and dealing with that stuff. So that was kind of nice, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever like trust again. Like that's a stupid thing to say, but it's hard.
Boogie actually graced us with a little dating tip and told us how women entering his home aren't allowed to bring their phones in with them.
I think, you gotta be careful, especially dating right now. I'm especially careful. Like if I have a girl over to the house, I'm like, so this is a no phone zone. And here's a burner.
That's a good call.
Here's a burner phone right here. And I'm going to let you put it in your pocket. And if you need to call 911, you need to call a friend, you can call them right there on that phone. But your phone stays in the car because I don't want to be filmed.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody recording my house. I don't want anybody doxing me.
That's such a good call.
I want to be really careful,
Huh.
And
because you want that moment to be private.
Yeah, and I want to make sure if I'm texting you, I'm very careful what I text. You want to do video chat, I'm going to make sure whatever I do is very, very, because I'm not going to get Shay Carl really went through the works, because he was talking to a girl or whatever.
But he was
like married and stuff.
And he was like Mr. Happy Family.
Right. And so like he ended up but that girl dumped like everything he said into the world, and you just got to like be super careful.
Then Boogie would make his first appearance on Drama Alert when one of his ex-girlfriends made a video talking about him, and it started getting seen. Let's get some highlights in, shall we?
What is up, Trouble Alert Nation? I'm your host, Keller Keemstar. Let's get right into the news. There's a cam girl out there by the name of Lucy Fox, and apparently this girl went on a date with Boogie2988. Lucy Fox uploaded a video talking about her relationship with Boogie2988, and well, she had some shade. She said in the video that when her and Boogie started dating, like Boogie found her on some questionable website, they started dating. Roll it.
What I went through is something nobody should have to endure, and the fact that I know that he's doing this to other people, to other girls that are younger than me, makes me very upset. Peace out from your favorite hooker.
So obviously we have some questions for the Boogie2988, and that's why I called him for a mini interview. Boogie, this cam girl is saying that you guys were dating and that, you know, you wouldn't let her leave, you wouldn't let her work. Is any of this true?
Man, I mean, I never even wanted to confirm whether or not we dated because I didn't want any negativity in her life. Like, that's why I didn't want the people who hate on me to start hating on her. And, you know, I never even wanted to confirm that she was the girl I dated, but I guess that ship has sailed now.
Yeah. Why do you think she's coming at you like this?
I don't know. I mean, we dated for 10 weeks. It didn't work out. We broke up. You know, I think we all had all of about 2 disagreements the whole time we were together. I don't know. I don't. Why would she wait 6 months or 7 months? Like, the last time I saw her was the end of February. So I don't even know why she would wait 6 months or however long it's been if any of this were true. It's just not. I'm sorry that this is how she feels about me. I'm sorry that this is what she thinks about me. You know, and I'm sorry if I ever said or did anything that made her feel uncomfortable or hurt. It was never my intention. You know, it was never my intention.
It sounds like in the video that she's like low on money. Has she been asking you for money?
Man, I don't feel comfortable talking about anything, but you know, she's a girl who's always needed a little help from time to time, you know, and I don't know, I don't know what to say about that. I'm not going to dox her. I'm not going to talk about our personal conversations. I don't feel comfortable doing anything like that.
At the end of the video, she referred to herself as your favorite hooker or something like that. Is she a hooker, or what is she referring to?
That's a joke that I like. There's a bunch of people on the internet that when they found out I dated a girl, they're like, oh, she clearly must be a hooker. She clearly must be doing it for money. She clearly must be trying to get, you know, money from us. So I leaned into the meme, which I guess was a huge mistake, but I'd always joke, yeah, I'm banging hookers. I'm having sex with hookers, which I don't know. I just leaned into the meme, which is stupid. But is she a hooker? No.
Cam girl.
I guess not. I mean,
like a step down from a hooker, definitely.
Right. And then I guess another thing she said at the end of the video is like, I'm doing it to other girls, some younger than her. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm not dating anybody right now. I have no intention to date anybody right now. The last time I talked to her, I said I had one first date with a girl who was, 19, and I wasn't interested. And that's pretty much about it. Like, I don't know. I'm not dating right now. I don't want to date anymore. This taught me that I'm not in a position, as long as I'm a YouTuber, as long as I'm a content creator, as long as I'm a streamer, I don't think it's ever worth risking dating.
Now, we get to talk about Boogie entering what Wings of Redemption people call the Lion's Den, the same place I first really heard people talk about Boogie, and that place was Fit. On the web, there exists a website that has been unfairly demonized, known as 4chan.
Do we even know who is this 4chan person or website?
I could talk forever about my late nights on X reading about cryptids, or on TG discussing the finer points of painting Warhammer models. But another board that I would frequent was one called Fit, and I remember there was non-stop discussion on how Boogie was going to die on the operating table and fail the surgery for years. Well, one day Boogie had enough and went onto 4chan to defend himself. I think it's actually pathetic that somebody had the unmitigated gall to tweet me this thread. I have no regrets on my surgery and telling me to go myself, you fucking Amish white LeBron looking fat is basically equivalent of a schoolyard bully calling someone names. I'm not the fat kid who was bullied at school anymore. You may all look like models with your bodies, but you are still mentally the guys who make excuses for the reasons they never grew up. Now grow up and good night. But 4chan is an anonymous image board, Audentum. How can we be sure that that was actually Boogie and not an imposter, I hear some of you saying? Well, Boogie actually admitted to going on Fit on the Baited podcast later.
Dude, what is up with... I seen a video from Gamer on Mars where he exposed you for fat shaming Boogie? You fat shamed somebody?
Okay, no, so just before my surgery, the 4chan Fit board became obsessed with me. They were posting 2 or 3 or 4 threads about me every day, and like there's like a Deadpool of whether or not I would die. There's like money involved and
I
shit.
don't mean to laugh.
No, laugh. I thought it was fucking hysterical that these people are betting whether or not I'll die during surgery, or whether or not I'll get out of 6 months, or whether or not I'll lose any of the weight and shit. And it was just absurd. So I thought, hell, 4chan is my roots. I was posting pre-Boxy days, you know, and so, you know, back when 4chan was good, and here's the hint, it was never fucking good, kids. But I figured I'd just go back to my roots and just say, hey, guys, I'm one of you. I don't know why you guys have your, you know, paintings in a wad. I know it's just memes, but hi. And I posted a trip code on Twitter to let them know it was really me, and then I, like, posted there.
Then, out of seemingly nowhere, Boogie ended up in the middle of another controversy when one of his sponsors, BetterHelp, was exposed, saying that they had the right to sell customer therapy information as well as their calls. Since Boogie was sponsored by BetterHelp, he decided that he would go into the kill stream to explain himself to Ralph, Daddy Jim, Gator, Zidane, Memology 101, and, of course, Null. Also, I know what you're thinking, and Boogie's audio was this desynced in the original stream.
Now, are you aware that there's provisions within this terms of service that they can actually sell the contents of your therapy sessions?
Absolutely not. And I didn't read my EULA, honestly. So that's what I'm saying. If they sold my shit, it would fucking ruin me. This shit that I said to this therapist, I don't want to talk about that shit.
It would show up on like Kiwi Farms.
Did you did you tell them not to share it? Because you have to legit tell them that you don't want it shared. Otherwise, it's already been shared.
Yeah. Now that it's already been shared, then I'm f***ed. But hopefully it's just going to be fed into a giant AI machine like every word I'm currently saying right now.
This was also the first time that Boogie would ever speak with Jim, somebody who's also going to be more important later on.
Boogie, you don't ask questions like this, but I mean you're promoting a service for people that are depressed or have ideation. You don't think,
but I used it for 6 weeks before I recommended it.
Yeah, but I mean that's the clever marketing technique that these people use. We get the influencer to say they use it, and then any criticism brought against the application of the service is deflected away because I used it personally. But I mean,
this is Megator, right? Metacore? Well, how do you pronounce your name?
Metator. Mediocre. But
but hey, man, I like your videos, man. I flipped the fuck out when you got banned from like Twitter. And did you ever get Twitter back?
Nope, it's lost forever.
But you did get banned from. But you got YouTube back, right?
Yeah. I'm using Hal's channel right now. He's a great guy.
Okay,
he's a good guy.
Well, I'm glad to see you back. I'm glad to see you back on YouTube.
Boogie ended up making a proper statement on his actual channel as well, and because it's a bit long, I'm just going to be showing the key points of the video. Note, however, nothing is taken out of context.
And I used the service for a few weeks, and at the same time I signed up, I reached out to my brand manager, and I said, can you contact the folks at BetterHelp? If I like their service, I would like to maybe advertise them if they are helpful to me. He reached out for me. I used the service for 6 weeks. At the end of 6 weeks, I'd already done 2 phone calls with my counselor. The counselor that I got paired with, the very first thing I did was, what are your accreditations? What are you doing? She has a degree in social work and hypnotherapy and some other stuff. She's like 5 or 6 different credentials. So I was satisfied with that pairing. She talked to me about my eating disorder. She talked to me about my mental health. She talked about my depression, my divorce. And I found the service to be very useful in that I was texting things at night, late at night when I was frustrated and irritated, and then I would wake up to answers the next morning, and then I could schedule a phone call and we could talk on the phone. After 6 weeks of this and realizing it was $60 a week and knowing the last therapist I'd seen was somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 an hour, this seemed like a much better deal. I was satisfied with it. I was looking for phone therapy. I was looking for therapy in my house. I trusted DeFranco. I trusted the company, so I started promoting them. Now, I don't know how many memberships I sold, but now that all of this has come out, that their terms of services are scary and bad, and a lot of people are concerned about it. And some of the stuff I've heard, like maybe they're storing my data, the stuff I said, the things I said on the phone call, makes me very, very concerned.
Then, months later, on April 15th, 2019, Boogie would upload a video saying that he would be getting new teeth because he had to replace his old ones since he treated them so badly and they were largely gone. Seriously, do not Google search Boogie2988 teeth right now.
For those of you who have noticed throughout the years, my terribly maintained and awfully rotten teeth, I'm going on to the venture to get it changed. These are the teeth that I'm dealing with, and it doesn't look that bad. I've always had kind of a gnarly grill that needed braces since I was a kid, but the thing that you can't really see is most of my teeth in the back are either completely gone or broken or chipped. I have root tips back there that are always getting infected. They're always super painful. The top row here that you can see, it's misplaced. They've all been worked on. Some of them are chipped. Some of them are cracked. Some of them have cavities in them already. My teeth have been a miserable situation for me ever since I was a kid. I've made several videos about it, but now we're finally going to do something about it. So let's get out of here. Let's go get these teeth fixed.
I know I had talked about Boogie going downhill earlier, but I believe that getting these new teeth is when the old and new era of Boogie changed. Seriously, getting these new teeth changed his entire facial structure into whatever we have now.
Oh my God.
I don't know if it's good or bad. You're a different guy.
Oh my God. That doesn't even look like me.
That's you, buddy. I'm nervous.
Oh my God. Holy shit. Oh, is that what I would have looked like with teeth this whole time? Oh my God.
Oh man. You look 10 years younger. You look so many years younger, you know? It's like,
I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe I would never have thought it made that big of a difference. I really didn't realize.
yeah, man.
Holy crap. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You look 20 years younger. Yeah. You look so much younger.
It doesn't even look like me. I mean, I've already had to go through this a couple times with the bypass surgery, losing 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Boogie, you look amazing. You look great.
Well, again, on the H3 podcast, Boogie would talk about the maintenance that they need, and I gotta warn you, it's a lot.
But they put in these metal posts that screw into your skull and then screw into your jawbone, and then they put bridges that are then screwed onto those metal screws. And I can go to them and they'll take these out and they can clean them, and I have to do that at least once a year. And
For real? They take them out?
Yeah, they
once
literally
a
just
year?
unscrew it, and I can't do it at home, right? Because it's special tools and stuff. But if the bridge ever broke or anything, and so a lot of people don't realize this, the gums.
The gums look hella healthy, bro.
And they're prosthetic as well.
The
They
gums?
are.
So,
Look at that.
yeah, look at that.
What? It
Uh-huh.
looks so...
Natural, right?
Would've
But if you
never
but you can
known.
really
Hella
you can really see, and you can see where they meet my actual guns, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't look...
Mhm.
I honestly, even looking at it closely, I can't
Yeah,
tell.
I feel like, and the internet seems to keep telling me that the upper row is a little too big, but I like them, right? That's
What do they mean? The top?
like maybe the top two teeth are a little too big for my face or something, but I like it. And so this is one of those instances where the internet has been kind of mean. A lot of people, mostly supportive, right? Some people are like, "Oh, you look like SpongeBob in that one episode," or "You look like the guy from the Two Fairy Godmothers," or what. Here's the you. Okay, number one, you.
Then on May 2nd of that year, Boogie would once again talk about him laughing at his ex-girlfriend on the Greek god stream and how the internet is making him out to be a liar.
And I told this exact story, and when I got to the dark part, I laughed. I was talking to Andy Melanakis. I was talking to Greek God on a podcast. When I told the double cancer joke, I laughed. And the internet's like, look at this piece of shit dying at his ex-girlfriend's life, right? So on Reddit, when I got accused of tax evasion, that story came up, and I went in to explain it to him. And like, you're a fucking liar. You're making shit up. Like, they so desperately want you to be a liar. They desperately want you to be a monster. They desperately want you. But it was a huge mistake to even try to, once again, reason with an unreasonable person.
Yeah.
Why do I have to prove that to him? I was Danny's friend for 30-some years. We were close to... I know the truth. I don't give a shit what he thinks. And that's how you seem to live your life. And that's how I need to live mine.
And that was pretty much the only part of that stream worth showing. Later, back at Boogie HQ, he would tell us that he had never once lied about the abuse that he had received as a kid. But we're gonna have to get more into detail for that in part 2, because if I talked about every story on that subject he told throughout the years, you would think I'm getting things wrong because the stories wouldn't be matching up.
I assure you, I've never lied to you about any of the abuse I've gone through. It's just systematically untrue that I would. Which leads me on to the topic of my mental health, because a lot of people feel like I'm disingenuous about my mental health. But for those of you who've been following my story for a while, I am clinically diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder from the stuff that I went through as a kid, and that is a lifelong disorder. It doesn't excuse any of my behaviors, but it is the cause of some of those behaviors. Though at the end of the day, I'm still responsible for anything I do because of my mental issues, because of my disease, because of my depression, because of my anxiety. They are never excuses. They might be the reasons I do those things, but they are never excuses. I'm still held 100% accountable.
Well, that summer, July 29th, Null announced that Boogie had blocked him. In an act of disgusting, violent anti-Semitism, Stephen Der Uberwolf 1488 Williams has blocked my Twitter account. Then, out of literally nowhere, in August 2019, Boogie said something that would spread like wildfire. And I have to be careful here because YouTube does not really like these words, but he explains how grapists and Yahtzees are better than the trolls because they actually believe in something. He even said he was going to be the next DSP/Wings of Redemption.
I'm here for you to torture me and only me. I'm going to make a living letting you torture me. I'm going to be the next Darkside Phil. I'm going to be the next Wings of Redemption. I'm going to spend every day online to keep you fucking busy so you don't do it to somebody else. So bring it. But I want you to know, I think you are the lowest of the low. I think you are the worst of the worst. I think that there are fucking rapists and Nazis out there who, even though they are rapists and fucking Nazis, they are more redeemable than you because at least they're doing something they fucking believe in. They may be pieces of garbage. They may be pieces. They may harm other people, but at least they believe what they fucking stand for. You stand for nothing.
This was enough for Keemstar to make a video on the subject. Not for Drama Alert, but his Twitter.
You said that the trolls online and the harassers online are worse than rapists and Nazis? What? And then, of course, you get called out on this and you spin it to, oh, no, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the people that harassed and killed Christina Grimmie. That's what I was talking about. Okay, well, that person killed one person, and that was pretty messed up. But you're saying you would rather talk to Nazis who killed 7 million people. What? Boogie, we have spent our time and energy for months and months and months to help you because you were going through a hard time. We've went out of our way to help you privately, and you keep saying dumb shit. You keep saying or doing dumb shit that will cause people to call you out, make a Reddit post, make an angry tweet, unsub from your channel. Now, I know that you've openly admitted that you have mental issues, but a cycle is going on here. And this is my theory, and I think maybe you need to talk to your counselor. I think you are obsessed with feeling attacked, right? And playing the victim. I think this is something that's comfortable to you. And like, when you get to the state where nobody's harassing you and everything's cool and everything's good, you go out of your way and you're like, oh, this doesn't feel right. This is not, I don't even feel like myself anymore. I must be attacked. And you say dumb shit knowing it's going to cause people to attack you. Like, something mentally is going on where you are self-sabotaging and trying to get people to harass you because that's the only way you feel like you are you.
Boogie then announced that he would be taking a break from the internet for a little while, something that, if I'm being real with you, was the right decision. Quick update for those who have reached out. Taking time off to work on some shit. Talking to a therapist daily. Staying offline, playing some games. Went swimming at the water park. Gonna try to get my mind back together before I start making content again. See you soon. Obviously, Twitter and live streams will be something I want to be careful about. We'll start with YouTube content again next week when Borderlands 3 drops. Until then, hope you guys enjoy my time off as much as I do. Love you very much. Speak with you soon. A few weeks later, on September 17th, 2019, and Boogie would talk about him leaving the internet for that 3-week period, saying that he had lost his mind and told us what he had been up to since then.
But this is the first rambling video I've done, I feel like in a couple of months. I'm not sure of the last one, probably at least a month, could have been 6 weeks, could have been 2 or 3 months. I honestly don't know. But this one I think is definitely overdue, because if you're a big fan of the channel, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll notice that for the last 3 weeks, I've really not been updating. If you're a fan of my Twitch following, you'll know that I have not streamed in 3 weeks. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you'll know that I've been posting way less than I used to, maybe just like once or twice a day, generally fluffy, goofy stuff instead of personal stuff. And all of that is by design. So if you guys don't know this, over the last, I would say for the last year and a half, I have been constantly sticking my foot in my mouth. I have constantly been doing very stupid, idiotic things. I think the easiest explanation for this is I completely lost my mind. I could blame it on the stuff that I've been dealing with over the last couple of years with the gastric bypass surgery and the divorce and stuff like that. And those definitely played a major role. But basically, I just went completely nuts. And you guys have definitely seen some of that here on the YouTube channel. I'm not talking about the puppet stuff or the jokes or anything like that. If you follow me on Twitter, you definitely saw it on Twitter. If you watch my live streams, you definitely saw it on live streams. Between a combination of being completely mentally ill and saying just absurdly stupid stuff, to my suicidal thoughts and my suicidal tendencies coming through, I feel like I must have hit rock bottom. So everyone, all of my fans, all of my friends, all of the other YouTubers I talked to said you need to take a break. My therapist as well, obviously. And that's something I'd never done before. After the gastric bypass surgery, I was making videos a week later. After the divorce, I was making videos during the divorce. I never really just took time off. My thought at the time was, I'm getting a lot of views, a lot of people watch my content, I'm making good money, so I should probably continue to get that ad revenue, continue to get those sponsor deals while I still can. When the views start to reduce, that's when I'll take the break. I didn't think that was going to take 2 years, but that's how long it took. Oh, camera, don't screw me like this, camera. Camera, focus. There we go. Okay. But finally, we are at that point where I don't get as many views, I don't have as many sponsors, and I probably was at my all-time craziest. I said something that at the time I genuinely think I meant. I compared internet haters, the kind of people who take clips out of context, the kind of people that attack you, the kind of people... If you look at the full clip, you'll see that I wasn't talking about the people who... I said, for the people who just don't like me or just don't like my content, I'm not talking about you. But regardless, there's no defending what I said. It was a very stupid thing. At the time, I was so paranoid, I was so anxious, I was so crazy, I believed it. I compared these people to Nazis and worse.
Well, then in November 2019, Boogie and Keem got into it again because Boogie was messaging a fake iDubbbz account like it was the real person, saying that he liked the Keemstar content cop. Well, Boogie2988, looks like you've been DMing a fake iDubbbz Twitter since 2016. Best part is, you were saying you loved Keemstar content cop, but you cried when you thought one was going to be made on you. This was the same time you came to me for help cause El Presador was bullying you. Lol, okay man, I can see you are hurt and upset about this. I'm available to talk, you got my number. But a lot of your other fans, including me, enjoyed that content cop and remained friends. You're going to lose the passive-aggressive or when every single one of your fucking tactics is broken down so people see the true manipulator you really are. I guess, man, this isn't passive aggression. This is me actively inviting you to a private phone call so I can apologize to you. I got nothing but love and respect for you, and hate seeing you like this. Facts. Call me. This is the real type of person you are. Let's be real. I avoided big stories on Boogie because I felt bad. He's always depressed and allegedly suicidal. I asked people to stop bullying him. I spent hours on the phone trying to help this man for years. And he's been snaking me this whole time. I'm pissed. Fast forward to 2020, everybody's favorite year I know, and Boogie would tell everyone his New Year's resolution, a new decade and a new Boogie.
So New Year's resolution number one, very simple. Tune out the negativity in its entirety. If you're a negative person, I'm just going to block you and I'm going to move on with my life. And hopefully, if you don't like me, you can move on with yours. Like, go watch something you do like. Go interact with people you do like. Because I'm not going to give you any more attention. That's just done. New Year's resolution number two is I'm done with the self-deprecating humor. Or more importantly, I'm so done with being so hard on myself. You know, over the last couple of years, I have beat myself up for not losing as much weight for my surgery, for making all of these stupid mistakes, for my divorce, for my marriage failing. I've just been beating myself up every single day. And one of the ways that takes form is in self-deprecating humor. Probably the most perfect example of that is the viral joke, one for me and one for my hooker, talking about banging hookers and snorting cocaine all the time, which is obviously not something I do. The second New Year's resolution is no more negativity about myself. There are going to be periods of time where I slip up. There's going to be periods of times where I make self-deprecating jokes, and there's definitely going to be periods of time where I'm going to want to talk about my mental health, so don't get confused. But I'm done beating myself up. The mistakes I've made are in the past. I'm just going to try not to make any more mistakes moving forward. Which leads me to talking about the state of this channel, which is right now not doing as well as it has in the past. So New Year's resolution number 3 is to show gratitude, to express gratitude, and to focus on the positive and the gratitude. Because if I'm not doing that, then I'm not living life right. I highly recommend you do the same. And then finally, and this is the New Year's resolution that I think I'm going to fail the hardest at and the quickest, but I'm going to try my absolute best to exercise it, and that is learning to think before I speak.
Well, on January 22nd of that year, Boogie would make an expose video on the people exposing him because his friend in the FBI told him to. It's pretty big, so we're going to do some highlights. Oh, and this video is also deleted from his channel.
I have a friend who works for the FBI, and I asked him how to deal with the online harassment that I get from a certain subreddit, from kiwi farms, from places like that. And he told me the only way to fight that stuff back is to expose those people for what they really are. Back in 2015 on my subreddit, the owner of this particular subreddit posted this about me, saying that I wasn't serious about my weight loss, that I never have been, that I'm full of excuses, that I'm lying all the time, that I'm lying about my tendencies, and that those are gross exaggerations, and how I possibly couldn't have thoughts back when, because I had a beautiful wife, because I make 6 figures a year. I cropped out his name, I put this on Twitter, and I started a war. This guy has been coming at me for 5 years because I dared rebuke his bullshit. That's the guy who owns the subreddit that you're getting your information from. That's where that megathread lives. Boogie is not being accused of being a wife beater. Scroll down the page and here's this section where supposedly I made my wife sign an NDA. And they give it again false context, saying that NDAs are signed when there are things to hide, which explains why Dez has been awfully quiet on the relationship or any psychological, not physical, abusive behavior towards her. And yes, I get that you're saying not a wife beater, but you're still accusing me of being emotionally abusive or any other type of abuse. You're being hypocritical. You can't trust those types of hypocrites. And by the way, my ex-wife never signed an NDA, and here she is on her own Twitter account claiming that she never signed an NDA. She can say whatever she wants. Why is this not in the megathread? Why did they not take that section down off the megathread once they were proven to be wrong? Because they know you'll never find this stuff. They know that you'll believe the lie, and they'll give it even more false context. I've heard them saying stuff like, I paid my ex-wife, or bullied or threatened my ex-wife to tweet this out, and that they were going to leave it up because they know the truth. Right here in one of the most upvoted posts on this entire subreddit, they show where they both doxed me, where they searched police records involving my address and my home information, and they have literally gone completely batshit insane. First up, to do this, they had to look up my private information, including my address, and that is doxing me. Then they deep dove
all of these police dispatch logs. He literally says he spent the last 4 days going over these records. This is not a healthy behavior. This is not what a healthy person does. They searched through 4,587 records to look for my address, to try to catch me in a lie that, by the way, was from a private conversation that got leaked. Now I'm going to go think long and hard about posting this, because in order to post this, I have to publicly admit I may have done a felony. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.
2 days later, on his show, Mad at the Internet, on January 24th, 2020, and Null would talk about Boogie's latest events, as well as how he was good enough at manipulating him on that kill stream we saw earlier.
The only time I've talked to Boogie was when I was on the Ralph Retort with Medicare and someone else, Keemstar. And Boogie got on it, and he talked to us, and he was extremely good at disarming us. Even Medicare, he was extremely good at making us question what we thought about him, and to keep the conversation going in the direction he wanted. And when he had basically said all he wanted to, he left. So there wasn't really a time to start deflecting things or pushing against him in his narrative. He just came in, he said what he wanted to, he disarmed everyone immediately, made himself look like a total, like he's like a chameleon. He came in there and he started making jokes that would please Ralph's audience that would later get him in trouble. But at the time, he was extremely good at blending into even an audience that different from his own, and kind of woo everyone with his rhetoric, and then he got the fuck out when he had worn out his welcome, right? So it was extremely tactile and extremely well done. And people in the thread were angry at me for letting him manipulate us so. But it's like, I don't know Boogie. I don't know his story. And I still don't. But from what I've seen, I think I know this story. So I'd like to cover that.
Null then pointed out how stupid that video we just saw started out, because Boogie came out of the bat lying, saying something that would never happen.
And he told me the only way to fight that stuff back is to expose those people for what they really are.
No, he fucking did not. This did not happen. This literally did not fucking happen. At no point in the history of ever has a professional, number one, a FBI agent would not give you fucking advice like that. He would say that would cost him his job if he gave you terrible advice like what you said he told you. But the advice, nobody would give you that. If someone came to you and said, I'm being bullied on the internet, what do I do? And would you tell, unless you hated them, would you tell them, fight back? Oh yeah, expose those people for how they really are. No, nobody ever, unless his FBI handler is like fucking with him, or a figment of his imagination, or is like a troll who just told him he's an FBI agent and he believes him. He's making this up. And don't let me forget that, because that's an important thing. This is a trend. The whole FBI agent told me something is a trend that he does, and I've noticed it already in the few videos I've heard him talk in.
1 month later, on February 22nd, and Keemstar would talk about how much he hated Boogie while he was on the show Cold Ones, as well as everything that Keemstar had done for Boogie behind the scenes.
I hate Boogie2988.
Leave him alone, man.
Haven't met him. Every fan subscriber I've met, perfectly nice.
Boogie2988 once was a very respectable member of the YouTube community, right?
I mean, his most popular video was Fat Man Falls into a fucking pool. I don't
oh my
think
god, he was me.
Respectable.
We seem like horrible people right now, but we've tried to help him.
I have.
Oh, so I put together a group chat of 50 YouTubers. I'm talking
We filled it to the max.
Think of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. They were in there. Clown was in there. Chad was in there. And our whole goal was to stop Boogie from himself.
Okay,
all right?
we can't leave that in.
Why?
All right, that's fine.
It's public. Boogie made it public.
All right, yeah, true.
Okay, it's totally fine. He told everyone over the summer, this last summer, 2019, he was going to kill himself. So we decided that we would save him. Every single one of us took time out of our days, talked to him on the phone for hours.
My time, the time out of my day was, don't listen to these retards in the group chat. Go see a therapist, you fat prick.
Regardless, we spent hours and hours talking to him.
Yeah.
And he would not take any of our advice. And it became very clear that this dude wanted attention. He liked people calling him and talking to him on the phone, trying to help him more than actually fixing the problem. And that's what he was seeking. He was seeking someone to talk to.
Boogie be like, I'm gonna kill myself, hunger strike. Okay, see you in fucking 6 years, mate.
Then, surprisingly, things would actually go pretty okay for Boogie with only a few controversies for the rest of the year. Well, except for one thing. One big thing. Unfortunately, this video has been long enough, and we still have so much Boogie to get through that we're gonna have to cut it here for now. But don't worry, because the next part is gonna be here real soon, when we get to cover weapons charges, fake cancer, and more. Court will now go into recess. But wait, what's this? The lolcow trading card game has just gotten a little more advanced. Not in its rules, but now adding in brand new lore for all your favorite cows and scribes. Including yours truly. Adentum is a robotic scribe that spends all his time documenting all the lolcows of the digital and real world. Throughout many years of experience, this has prepared him for anything the lolcows may throw his way. Adentum is also a battle-hardened warrior that has many machinations at his disposal. Since he is the robot overlord, Adentum can construct more robots to do his bidding. The scribes have a powerful ally in this master of machines. The Acronian War is approaching, and Adentum is waiting. If you're interested in getting in on the action, or even want to test your luck by donning one of the Sonichu medallion shirts, check out my affiliate link down below.